Hey, Cody. Just coming out of Summer League and the preparation for training camp in this season, what have been some of your areas of focus in your game?
I think just the mentality to give 110% effort, every time I step on the court. So I feel like that's something you can control no matter what. Obviously, shot consistency and just, really attacking the defensive end just because I feel like I'm gifted on that end and that's where I can, make immediate impact. So for me, it's kind of just, coming out with that motor every single game, which is hard playing 82 games in a season, but, something you want to do if you want to be great.
What have you been doing this summer, and where have you been working out and playing? Who have you been taking advice from to get to that next level?
I got to hang out with my brother for a little bit, about 2 or 3 weeks in Arizona. So, I got to kind of pick his brain about, just about life, about, preparations for winning a championship, the things they did every day to, get to that point. Got to work out with them. He kind of showed me how to use my body better, driving to the hole or, just kind of little tips on defense. So, I feel like it's very rare where you get to live, related to an NBA champ. You get to live with him and kind of pick his brain. So I took full advantage of that.
Like, it's obvious that would be a good thing to have a brother like that, but is there times that's overwhelming to be like almost living in his shadow or something like that? Like, do you understand what I'm asking a little bit?
No, yeah, I don't think I'm living in his shadow at all. I'm extremely happy for him, and for me, it's kind of he set the blueprint for me to follow. So, I mean, he showed me what it takes to be an NBA champ, which is something everyone in this organization team wants to be a champion. So, I'm extremely blessed to have him in my life, and I'm taking everything that he's teaching me and I'm applying it to myself. And hopefully one day I can get there and be a champ too.
What do you think you got better at this summer?
I think one of the biggest ones is obviously my body. I just feel a lot stronger and more balanced on the court. And I really worked on basically a lot of areas of my game. Ball handling feels better, shooting feels way better. I feel way more quick and explosive going to the basket. Feel quicker on defense. Feel like I'm able to navigate screens better. Even playing summer league, the game slowed down a bunch for me. So I feel like there's a bunch of little areas that I improved on just being here this summer, working out and playing.
We've heard from Keontae and Bryce about the trip to Dallas. First of all, did you go on that, or were you in Arizona?
No, I didn't make that trip. No, I pulled my hip flexor right before.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
I'm all good now, but it was
Okay,
right
good to
before
know.
that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that now. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, are you okay?
No, we're good.
Like, it seems like those guys have been working out together a lot here and kind of getting some camaraderie and getting better together. Mm-hmm. You're kind of part of that. You show that in summer league as well. But like, how does it help to have kind of a group go through this together?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of essential if you want to, if we want to go where we want to go. I think if you not have a close team, if you don't have good camaraderie, if you're not, close with the guys you're spending every day with, working out, busting your tails, I feel like, there's no way you can be a great team. So I think the good thing about our team is it just comes so naturally. Like, we don't have to force any of the chemistry. We don't have to force, acting like we like each other. Like, we all generally like each other and like spending time, on and off the court. So I feel like that's going to really translate to the game, and it's going to help us even more.
You talked about improving your body. How do you improve the mental part of your game? What are steps that you can take to improve, that part of basketball?
Well, I think one, we got great resources, like Dr. Ron and Craig really help us with the mental performance side. So, first of all, we've been getting, tons of lessons, and they've been kind of teaching us on how to approach the game in the mental aspect. And then also I just ask questions. I talk to the coaches, ask them, talk to AB, because he was in the NBA for a long time. So, he was one of the greatest defenders, when he was in the league. So I feel like being able to kind of pick his brain and see how we attack the game mentally and how he prepared is, kind of one way that I prepare for it. Also talk to Jalen a bunch. He felt every emotion during that playoff run, so I kind of got to ask him how he dealt with it because, I'm sure being in your first finals is probably one of the most nerve-wracking experiences you could feel playing basketball. So, just really picking those guys' brains about how they approach the mental side of the game.
Cody, how do you feel like this team needs to approach defense this year?
I think really trying to impose our will defensively. That's been a big emphasis this summer, especially trying to be more physical, especially because we're a young, fast team, being physical, playing fast, and, kind of throwing the first punch is that mentality. Not, especially we're going to be the younger team, not letting guys push us around, really try and go out there and, dictate with our defense. So that's kind of been a big focus point for us this summer.